Monday Night Football with that matchup, Broncos and the Bills. Also, last night, it was the Raiders over the Jets. It was 16-12, and once again, Robert Saleh, the Jets head coach, has to go to a press conference and somehow try to say something nice about Zach Wilson.
What's frustrating is the different ways that we're creating to not get in the end zone. Zach scores, but obviously his toe is barely out. We score in the next play, but we get a holding penalty. We're driving the ball well, but we knock ourselves into a non-advantageous situation where we're 2nd and 20. First, it just happened over and over and over again. We're generating offense, we're moving the ball, but again, we're not finishing our drives the way we need to.
No, and it feels like every week he comes up with, or at least tries to come up with, a different way to describe what's wrong with the Jets. 16-12 final in that one. You know, if a score sounds like a battle, I remember the battle of 16-12. That's not a good football game. Recapping, glossing over some of the bigger games, I thought the Jags might prove that they are worthy, a Super Bowl contender. They're not there yet. Niners roll the Jags. I thought the Niners should have been embarrassed late in that game. They're trying to get Christian McCaffrey a touchdown. You're doing that in Jacksonville, and you're already up big. What if McCaffrey got injured? Everybody knew he was going to get the ball. What's more important? Get the win, get out of town. Not, hey, let's give him the ball 4 times there at the end of the game. But Niners got the victory. McCaffrey didn't score a touchdown. Browns beat the Ravens. Social media was roughing up Deshaun Watson, and then social media had nothing to say about Deshaun Watson. He went 14 for 14 in the second half, and the Ravens get stunned. The Chargers, they were the Chargers once again. Nobody loses close games quite like the Chargers do. The Lions go on the road, and that was a lot of points there. Texans over the Bengals. Bengals at home losing to the Texans. Now we have to look at the Texans as a team that could win their division. Over the past decade, regular and postseason, the Chargers have played in 100 games decided by one score, most in the NFL. Their winning percentage is the 5th worst in one-score games over that span. They have won 43% of those one-score games. So, once again, this is where it's coaching and quarterbacking. That's what it comes down to. And a kicker, because you did have, 5 games decided at the buzzer with a field goal? Stay in the game, but win the game. Stay in the game, win the game at home. Stay in the game, have a play or a couple of plays, have a game plan here. But, this is systemic. And granted, they've had different quarterbacks and different coaches there, but still, it just feels like the Chargers can't avoid being the Chargers. And as much fun as they are, I still don't think they're criticized as much because their uniforms look so damn good. But you lose those games. We keep waiting for them to step up. Even Jacksonville, I think we're ready for them to step up. The Chargers, you keep going, God, they got a lot of talent. We're decades into this. I don't care who's quarterbacking. I don't care who's coaching. Somehow I feel like Tom Brady would lose close games if he and Belichick were with the Chargers. And speaking of Bill Belichick, he is bringing a loss back home from Germany.
Bill, what made Bailey Zappi the best option at quarterback for them?
Yeah, I just thought it was time for a change.
Mike Reese, from real far right. Bill, was any of that related to injury?
Yeah, look, I made the decision. That's what it was. We'll deal with next week.
Bill, do you still have faith with Mac Jones as your quarterback?
I have faith in all our players.
Oh. Normally, when you pull a quarterback, it's like at halftime, not for the final drive. But, Zappy hour, Bailey Zappi, and I thought, okay, fake spike. Somebody's got to be wide. Interception. Threw it into triple coverage. And I still don't think Bill Belichick's going to be fired midseason. Don't think so. But I've mentioned this before. If Belichick can get his Victor Wembanyama, then maybe he can get a lifeline here. If the Patriots would be in position to get a great quarterback, then maybe Bill would have sort of a stay of execution there. But Mac Jones is not his quarterback. Bailey Zappi is not his quarterback. but feels like Bill's going to stay with the pay. You have to do that out of respect for him. And if they keep losing, he might be helping the team, if he's not the coach next year. Draft order right now, Paul, is what?
The Chicago Bears have the number 1 pick of the draft from the trade with Carolina, and they're pretty safe there. They're a game ahead. Right now, the New York Giants have the 2nd pick of the draft. The Patriots have the 3rd pick of the draft. And I think they play each other next week or the week after. Yeah. Arizona, with that win, dropped themselves to 4, and the Chicago Bears had the 5th pick of the draft, their own pick.
Yeah, boy. What did the Giants do? Do they have their quarterback? I mean, I felt all along that they shouldn't have paid what they paid for Danny Dimes. I think he's got talent, but so did Mitchell Trubisky. Mitchell Trubisky was a better quarterback than Danny Dimes. Yeah. Well, he got them to the playoffs.
Twice.
Yes. I mean, there's something to be said for that, and he was quarterbacking the Bears. The Browns trailed for 59 minutes and 20 seconds of their game against the Ravens. That's the most time trailing in a regulation game since 1999. The Dolphins trailed the Patriots for 59 minutes and 32 seconds before winning that game.
Woo! Ow! Stat of the day! Stat of the day! Stat of the day! Stat of the day! This is the stat of the day!
Thank you, Melissa. Stat of the day brought to you by Panini America, the official trading cards of the Dan Patrick Show. This first hour brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Their holiday love celebration is here, and exceptional vehicles bound to love, like the EQB C-Class or EQE SUV. Find an exclusive offer on a vehicle that you adore through January 2nd. Learn more at MBUSA.com/special offer. Speaking of love, Travis Kelce in Argentina, Taylor Swift changing the lyrics of a song, Karma, and Love in the Air. I love love. Kind of interesting, though. Her dad is an Eagles fan, but I think he had Chiefs gear on, something to do with the Chiefs, which I found interesting. But, love conquers all. Had a bye week there. He looked roughed up after that flight to Argentina. Like he got off the flight. It's like, sometimes love is heavy lifting. But he was on the side of the stage. And he was dancing. Tay-Tay runs off the stage at the end, gives him a big kiss.
Taking this private jet to Argentina is, on my off week is just so exhausting. I love it so hard.
But I'll do it. But I'll do it for her. And the fans, they were like cheering him on like that. Now they like him. It's when she gets her heart broken.
He seems to be a favorite.
Yeah.
They seem to approve.
Yeah.
Because Swifties, if they don't approve, they swarm.
No, you don't want them coming after you. No, you don't. All right, Seton, do the honors for the first hour poll question.
By the way, real quick about Mac Jones, I kind of feel like he wasn't set up for success.
He was not. No, he was not.
He wasn't. He really landed in a pretty terrible situation. I mean, it's easy to say that now looking back, but it's his 3rd year in the league. This is his 3rd or 4th offensive coordinator. Last year, his offensive coordinator was a defensive coordinator who for some reason was also the offensive lines coach. I mean, that's not setting up a second-year quarterback for success. And the year before that was Josh McDaniels, who has obviously had success, but hasn't recently.
He had initial success. But it goes back to Mac Jones probably should be with the 49ers. If the 49ers, they took Trey Lance instead. But all indications were they were going to take Mac Jones. And if you look at what Brock Purdy has done, Mac Jones is sort of Brock Purdy and vice versa. And he would have been in a great situation there with the 49ers. But here he is, probably going to be backup quarterback someplace next year.
I mean, I guess it's not unrealistic to think that if Mac Jones in some parallel universe was taken by the 49ers, he'd have a Super Bowl already.
I think he's a good quarterback when he has the weapons to be a good quarterback. He's not somebody who can create something. And I think that's the difference. If you're going to rely on Mac Jones to be your savior on offense, you're in trouble. But if he can be a complementary figure, quarterback, then I think he's capable of doing that. But how many quarterbacks are in a position where you go, I mean, look, Brock Purdy is not going to make magic on his own. He is really good when he's got his complementary, or he can complement all these players. Trent Williams was back, Debo was back, and they were a different team. But, now you're looking at how good is he? How good can Mac Jones be? You're going to have probably a new head coach, new offensive coordinator maybe next year. And do you stay with Mac Jones? Do you use that high draft pick on a quarterback? I'm watching the Raiders and Jets last night, and then at one point, like, my mind couldn't even process it. It was just so bad, and like my eyes are blurry just because I'm just watching bad football. And I like how, the Raider Nation is excited about. I mean, you beat the Jets at home, and the Jets were a half-point favorite. Yes, Marv.
But a win is a win.
Okay.
Yeah.
Antonio Pierce,
All right.
culture changer.
Okay. All right. Here's Antonio Pierce, the interim head coach after the Raiders' big win over the Jets.
Our fans, they kept us in the game. Their energy, their passion, their support throughout. That's what energized our guys at the end. And then if you watched at the very, the last 30 seconds, I think you saw our entire bench up on the sideline rooting on our defense, talking to Devontae right next to me, Josh Jacobs. I mean, all those guys are sitting there just rallying the troops. That's what this culture is about. It's about team.
Okay. You guys are supposed to be good. Once again, you have an elite running back, elite wide receiver, elite edge rusher. How many teams have that? And how many of those teams are playoff teams? You guys should be good. You barely beat the Jets. By the way, Robert Saleh, don't dye the beard. Don't do it.
Oh, no.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Once you start, like Ryan Day at Ohio State.
He looked a lot like Ryan Day walking out there.
You can't. Once you start, you never get to stop. Meanwhile, Aaron Rodgers out there, he's got gray in his beard. Robert Saleh, once you start, then all of a sudden it's every day where you're going, let me tell you. This is coming from experience, having dyed my hair at the mothership, and you're like, God, this looks stupid. But you keep doing it. Once you start it, then you can't stop. Yes, Eaton.
Antonio Pierce keeps getting wins.
That's 2 wins.
Oh, okay, but those are the only 2 that he could have gotten, right? If he keeps winning, say they beat, what do they have, the Dolphins next?
Yeah.
That's a quality win. To beat an overrated Dolphins team, that is a quality win.
Let me see it happen. Let's have this discussion next week, and then if they beat the Dolphins.
Then they have the Chiefs.
Okay.
All right, Vikings, Chargers, Chiefs, Colts, Broncos. They have some. There's some dubs
Some
in there
winnable
for sure.
games. Yeah, winnable games.
How is it going to be hard to not hire him? Just given how he's very present, more so than a normal interim coach is. He's much more out front, playing, doing great and getting great sound bites.
He's got a personality.
Yes.
And that's important.
And a personality that clearly players and fans are rallying around.
Yes.
Is it going to be more difficult to not hire him versus other interim head coaches they've had?
Well, they did this to Rich Bisaccia.
But nobody cared.
The players did.
Yeah, but the players, right. In the locker room, the players were like, oh, we love this guy. And everybody else was like, who cares? But now Antonio Pierce is right out front, and he's like, man, I grew up like this. I'm from Compton. Every soundbite is exactly right. People are rooting for this dude.
Yeah, but you're saying that nobody cared outside the locker room. That's because they got John Gruden. If you don't get John Gruden, then you're probably going to go, like if you followed up
with Bill Belichick.
Bill Belichick is not going to go. Now we're looking at landing spots for Bill Belichick. And there are some college football analyst insiders who I have great respect for, but when I see Belichick to the Cowboys, and I go, could you imagine that they couldn't coexist? If Jerry didn't like Jimmy getting credit, and you bring Bill in there, Washington, the Bears, there's probably another team in there that Bill might have a landing spot. I don't know. Yes, Todd.
Doesn't the Commanders make sense? They can go to D.C. and say a bunch of nothing like all the politicians. That would be a perfect place.
Not bad.
All right. Todd's with us today. First appearance. Appreciate that. Got his Bronco gear on, ready to go. Big night tonight.
Let's go.
Big night. Big
Let's
night
ride.
tonight. Yeah, let's ride.